Coming off a huge win at UFC 323, making a return to action with a dominant win over Karine Silva, UFC 323. It is my great pleasure to welcome back Maycee Barber. Maycee, after everything you've been through, how good does it feel to come do post-fight media where you're coming off a win?
It feels so good. I kind of expected though, so um not to sound, arrogant, but it does. It feels really good. It just feels like, you know, expected, but also just like a breath of fresh air, like finally made it.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I know we talked beforehand and everything you went through to get to this moment. And as a journalist, my job is to be impartial. I'm not allowed to root for anybody, and I don't. But I got to be honest, like, I was just so happy for you, the weigh-ins, and then seeing you walk out to the cage. Like, did you, after it's over, you get your hand raised? Do you allow yourself a moment of levity, like, oh, it's finally over. Like, I got back, I got the win. Now we could just move on.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really like a move on. It was more of like so after the fight, they always take you back when you win. They take you back and they do like pictures, the celebratory pictures. They put the gloves on you, and then they take pictures of like just like some poses, and then they take the team picture and like just like the celebration pictures. And I knew that. And so I was like, I walked back and I was like, I was already like kind of teary-eyed, and I was asking him, I was like, do you want me to put the gloves on? Do you want me to do this? And Mike was like, just 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 enjoy the moment. Just enjoy this time. He's like, you earned this. And I just started bawling. I was just like, I gave my boyfriend a hug and I just started crying. And he was like, I'm not gonna take any pictures of you today. I don't want any pictures. He's like, I'm gonna take a team picture. I'm gonna take a picture of you and your boyfriend. I'm gonna take a picture of you and your team. And that's all I want. He's like, that's it. He's like, I'm not gonna take any celebratory pictures. He's like, I'm just gonna take those. And I just was like crying, and I was like, he's like, I just want you to really enjoy this moment. And I was like, oh yeah, it did. It felt good, and I think that everyone, it wasn't just like me and my team, it was like everyone in the UFC, like all the blue shirts and the girls that the makeup girls, Tirza and Chris and Laura Sanko, like everybody, like this wasn't just like a me thing, this was like a us thing, this was everybody in the UFC too, like we all kind of accomplished this, and I think we all felt this together. It was like, wow, we really all like came together, and it was like a long thing, but I think everyone just kind of felt that moment.
Absolutely. I remember when we talked before the fight, and you told me like going into the Aaron Blanchfield fight, there were moments in your training camp where you said, I probably ignored things I shouldn't have ignored. Little ailments because you were so ready to get back in there, and then obviously we know what happened. Can I ask? Like everyone made comment, like you stepped on the scale, you looked so good, so healthy, no problems. Stepped in the cage, you looked great. But like, can I ask backstage, like just in the moments for the walkout, like were there any extra nerves? Did you were you able to just like eliminate all that, or how did it feel? Just like finally, because I asked you beforehand, like the excitement of making the walkout, but obviously there can be nerves. So how was that feeling like right before you made that walk through the curtain?
Yeah, I mean, there's always nerves, but I think I felt them because I was like, it has been 21 months since I felt them, and so I was just like, screw this, like like it feels like that same feeling, but I think I just like forgot that feeling, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot what it feels like to feel alive, like forgot how like and as soon as it was over, I was like, man, like because I feel like every time I do it, like I always wonder, I'm like, man, why do we choose to feel this way? Like, why do we choose to feel these nerves? And then you do it and you're like as soon as you start the walkout, you're like, oh, this is why, like this is why I love it so much. This is why I crave it so much. And I think that I think I had the same amount of nerves as I've always had, and it's not like a scared nerve, it's not like a bad nerve. It's a what do I want to do, like how is it gonna, in a good way, like of am I gonna throw a jab, am I gonna throw a cross, like the anticipation kind of feeling, and it's a good feeling. It's just like it's a good nervous energy, or like an anxious energy. It's just a something I haven't felt in a while, and it was just like, oh wow, I forgot what this felt like, and so it was not the most fun necessarily to navigate again, but um at the end of it all, as soon as I got to go to the walkout, it was like calm, and it felt great, and it was like I'm home, and this is like go into my living room and go into walk in, like this is just home. So and I truly feel like this is what I was created to do. This is what um God created me for, and this is the life that I wanted to live, and this is my dream and this is my passion.
So, unlike Dominic Cruz, I do believe ring rust can be a real thing, but it can come in a lot of different forms. It can just be a timing thing, like throwing a punch, because when you're in training, you're not trying to kill your training partners. You're trying to get ready for a fight, so
Not
you're not
me. I
really
try to kill them all, and they all know it.
but you go in there and you look brilliant. I'm just being honest. I know fighters are their own worst critics, but you look fantastic. Look like you hadn't skipped a beat. Did you feel that way going in and coming out of the fight? Because it's almost like, wow. Because I was like, man, if she comes out and has a slow first round, I'd get it. Like, I'd understand it. You've been away for 21 months. You didn't. You didn't skip a beat. You went out there and had a very dominant performance. So you tell me, but like watching, I was like, wow, like this is pretty amazing. Like you did not skip a beat.
Oh, thank you. I work hard and I believe in myself, and we only get 15 minutes in there, and I want to go out there and give it everything I got. And so I want to make myself proud. I want to make my coaches proud. I want to make the UFC proud, and I think that really at the end of the day, like I put in all the work, and so I have nothing but the expectation of just go out there and have fun, and I think that I think that if I was going to have ring rust, it probably would have been in sparring, and it probably would have been in training, and it probably would have been in, at least that's what I believe. And so I guess I just like, there were some sparring rounds that I had that I was like, oh yeah, my timing is off, and my this is not good, my defense is bad, and my this is not it, and like, like there, but that's what camp is for. That's why we train. That's why we're in the gym, and I don't just take, when I'm out, I'm not just like out and sitting around doing nothing. Like when I am out, whether I'm injured or not, like I'm either training mentally or I'm training physically. Like if I'm, not booked for a fight and I'm not injured, I'm in the gym all the time. Like I still train as though I have a fight, or as though I'm like, just it's just a daily routine. This is my life, and this is a career that I chose, that, we don't have an on season, off season. We have this is an everyday thing. And so for me, I think that, like, I don't necessarily feel like I was going to have that timing or ring rust, because I just, if I was going to have it, it would have been in the training, which I did have it in training. But again, that's why I have the coaches I have. My coach Guy he's on top of things. If something's off, we're going to fix it. We're going to go through, and he's going to make sure that if my jab timing is off, he's going to go through and dial it in. And so we did plenty of rounds, and we did plenty of training to make sure that everything was at the right time, and we peaked at the right time. And all of the work was put in. So when I walked out into the cage, I expected nothing but to be as flawless as possible. Try to be flawless. And then I guess I never even let the whole ring rust enter even into my head. Like even if people talk about that even before the fight, which I don't think anyone ever does, because I really don't I cut those people out. Like if someone tries to bring in negative energy, I'm just like, they're gone. Um but as far as that goes, like I just don't even let that stuff enter my head. Like if that enters my head, I'm like, it's bad. Like bad energy is, it's not necessary. It's not for me. So I didn't even let it enter my head.
Yeah, and everything about this fight should be a positive. But I have to ask you, Macy, about the illegal upkick, because if you go look at my Twitter, I think I flipped out. I lost my mind. I was like, when Mark Smith said glancing blow, I think I actually literally said, "You are the absolute worst" to Mark Smith. I was like, "That's the absolute dumbest thing I've ever heard take a point." Didn't like that whole situation was remarkably stupid. Like, you got absolutely cracked. Like, I know she cracked you with that upkick illegally, and then him saying glancing blow, that was dumb, and then not even taking a part. Not that you needed it, you won the fight regardless, but like, how do you not, like, I was so I was probably more upset than you were in the moment. I was so angry.
Yeah. So in the fight, it's a lot different than like now when I watch the fight back. Like when I watch the fight back, I'm like, oh wow, there was a couple of like weird glitches that like I didn't, obviously, like in the fight you don't even notice it. But like in the fight, what I remember was, obviously, I was like, I knew that she throws a lot of up kicks, and I know that, like, like we knew that she was gonna try to kick. We were expecting her to kick my knees, so I guess I didn't really think that, oh, she's gonna, necessarily kick at my head, especially if I'm down. Um, And then but also an up kick is an up kick when you're standing or whatever, if she's gonna kick my knee versus if my head, like you always have to be prepared for that stuff. um and so like we did train for up kicks, and we knew that she threw them. And so when I was on the ground, the first time she tried to throw it, and watching back now, like I don't remember necessarily doing this in the fight, but I watched it back and I was like, oh, I moved my head out the way, like, and I saw it. And then, and I do remember her trying to throw it in the fight. I just didn't know what I did. I just know that I didn't get hit by it. But then the second time when she threw it, she landed it, and all I remember was as soon as she hit it me, I just remember my face and my like neck feeling like I hit my funny bone. And I was like, everything's tingly. And I was like, what the heck? And I was like, I thought that was the second time she hit me for a second there. And then I told him, I was like, that's the second time. And he was like, and then he was like, that didn't hit you or something. Or all I remember him was telling me was stop. And I thought I was in trouble. And I was like, wait, I'm in trouble. What did I do? And so I was kind of confused at first. Um, and then I watched when I watched the fight back, I was like, oh, I wobbled, like I was wobbly, and I was like, and he did tell me to stop. I was like, I was wondering why he was telling me, like, when I was listening to it back, he was like, that was not a hard blow, stop. And I was like, I thought I was in trouble, and I was so confused at the time, and I was like, what the heck? Like I was scared that he was going to stop the fight, and I thought I did something wrong. And I was like, oh no, they're going to stop the fight. And then he came over and they were asking me what was going on. And I was like, I'm fine. And I was like, I'm a little dizzy, but I'm fine. I don't know what you guys are asking me for, but I'm like, I'm a little dizzy, but I'm fine. And then I realized, I was like, oh, like something happened. And I was like, she kicked me. Like I knew she had kicked me. And I was like, okay, so I was like, if I feel like this, I'm like, I got to take her down. Like, I'm like, I need a little time, but I'm like, I guess I'm gonna take her down. Like, that's my plan. I'm like, I'm gonna go take her down. And so I took her down. But yeah, when I watched it back though, I was like, she did kick me, and obviously I was wobbled, and he did tell me, he was like, that was a glancing blow, and like stop. But then like, yeah, I was surprised. I was like, the intention of like an up kick when someone kicks you is to get up, like her intention was to kick and get up. So I was like, in my mind, I'm like, if you're the ref, you would put someone back down on the ground, right? Like, at least put her back down on the ground, if not take a point, or both. But it is what it is. I mean, I was told several times, I'm like, this is a great ref. And from my perspective now, I'm like, to me, I'm like, I don't want him reffing my fights at all. I don't feel safe in there with him anymore. I don't feel like he's a very fair ref. But I mean, people have bad days, so I try not to be too harsh. But at the same time, that's my job, and my job's on the line, and I get it. Like he can have a bad day at work, but he's gonna get paid regardless. So it kind of sucks that we have us athletes that have to go in and have people that can have off days and still get paid and risk our jobs. Um, and then also I was watching the fight, and there was also a time in the second round. My coach actually told me about it when she got me in the triangle. At the very end of the round, the guy that was in control of the timer, he forgot to hit the timer. So there was a spot where there was like 10 seconds at the end of the round where the triangle shouldn't have even happened. That whole sequence wouldn't have happened because the round would have ended. And I just watched it back today. I was like, oh, I was like, that's cool to know that like we pretty much would have been at the end of the round and she wouldn't have even had that. But things happen, like stuff happens, and there's human error in things. So it is what it is, and we're here, and I got the unanimous decision, so it is fine.
You got everything in your first fight back. Throw everything at you.
You got the up kick, got this, got that. It's fine. It's all good.
So obviously, Maycee, before I get you out here, let me just ask this because obviously huge win. You're back on track, back where you want to be, back in the top five. Obviously, we know where the flyweight division is at right now. Valentina just had to win over Zhang Wei Li. Obviously, we just know that Alexa Grasso was going to fight in January. She got knocked out. I know that's a rematch you desperately wanted. So in your head, 2026, I know the title is the grand goal, but can I imagine like the ideal world would be avenge the fight with Alexa and then go fight Valentina? Like, what is the ideal 2026 for Maycee Barber?
Yeah, ideally, I'm trying to get a quick turnaround. whoever's available. If Alexa's injured, we'll see. If they want to give me a title shot, sure. We'll just see who's available because everyone's got booked, and um, I already have been talking with Mick and the UFC, so we'll see what's up. But right now, I mean, I'm pretty much healthy, so I'm just gonna be ready. I had such a long layoff that I'm like, I don't want a long layoff. I want to turn around and fight. I want to be back into a camp again. I want to be preparing for another one and just, be ready. And so it'd be great to be ready to fight February and then turn around and fight at the White House.
I love it. I love it. Well, Maycee, congratulations. Like, it feels like we've all been riding along with you during this whole ordeal you went through. And I know we did the pre-fight interview and you kind of broke down everything. And I said to you, I said, I'm sure you're so happy to just not talk about that again. So we had one last conversation about it. You went out there, kicked ass, had a great fight. So congratulations. Enjoy the victory. Enjoy the holidays. And it's so good to have you back.
Thank you. I appreciate it.